Hey Neha, how are you? I'll just quickly move you guys to the next window. Yeah. Hey Simone, how are you? Super. Let's just wait for a couple of more minutes, right? Let everybody come in. Hey Arjun. I have some good information about you guys today. There's a lot of good pointers behind this. Let's just get everybody live, right? How many people are here? I can see Neha, I can see Simone, I can see Arjun. Who else? Just say hi here and we'll be ready to start off. Vishishta. Hey Vishishta, how are you? Who else? How many people? Super. Sasha, Kushi, hey, how are you? How are you guys? Awesome. Great, guys. So what I'm going to be doing is very quickly, uh, taking you. I just have 45 minutes today. I'm sorry about that. I have some other work after 8:30 or something. So I'll be very fast today, but at the same time, you guys will also have to be fast around this, right? So I'm going to start now. The first thing which, as a digital marketer, you join somewhere, right? And when you join somewhere, you always have this great feeling about, okay, getting your first job, or maybe even if your second one is there or something of that sort, right? But the things in a longer term, whatever you do in your start of your career, right? In a longer term, that's going to make a lot of impact as well. Okay. So there are a few things, a few mistakes which a lot of digital marketers, a lot of mistakes which the new digital marketers make. Okay. And I have a list of 6 points here. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. I have 6 pointers here with me, which I would be taking you through in order to make sure that we go ahead and not do these mistakes. If you're a digital marketer fresher, or even if you're at a level of, let's say, 3 to 4 years of experience, right? So that is something which I'll be taking care of. And after today, if you decide to make changes in these 6 points, okay, your career is going to be a lot more smooth and a lot more better, I could say, right? And these are implemented by me also. Okay. Sometimes it has been okay that one of the things is not implementable, but at a lot of times you should take these 6 pointers which I have right in front of me to be, sort of a playbook for yourself, right? It has nothing to do with digital marketing. It has to do with you and your career. Okay. But okay, let's start with the first part. Okay. So the first part here, which we have, the first pointer which I have, which a lot of digital marketers miss. Okay. And the first pointer is, I don't know if you guys can see this. Yes, I guess you can see this, right? Is to understand the business model. Okay. A lot of the freshers, I have seen it, I am seeing it right now. Okay. And what they do is stick to the job which they have been given, right? Now, it hampers you. It hampers you because you're stuck in that particular segment where you're not able to learn anything. Okay. Now, about learning, we're going to talk about it later. But for now, since marketing is one of the most costliest department, if not, for a lot of companies, if you think about it, right? If you think about cred, if you think about I don't know, Zomato, right? They spend a ton on marketing. And if you do not understand how this business is going to work around, so there are some digital marketing metrics and there are some business metrics, right? If you do not involve yourself on the business side of things, right, at that particular point, what will happen is, first of all, you will always be a little lacking in the sides of how to make things better for the business level. You might do things for the which are better for the marketing level, but the CEO, the owner who's probably hired you, especially if you're working in a startup, right? You need to understand the business. Each and every business is different, and since each and every business is different, each and every digital marketer needs to behave differently in a different company. Okay, so if you're a marketer who's moving from, let's say, an e-commerce company to a software-based company, although that's unlikely to happen, right? But let's say even if you move now, an e-commerce company which is selling stuff on the fly, right? You will probably be very happy to pay more than what they will give in return. But you will not do the same thing in the software industry. Okay, so understanding the business needs to be extremely important for you if you want to grow also. Now, you're not always going to be a SEO analyst, you're not always going to be a content writer, you're not always going to be a social media marketer. You'll grow, right? And the more you grow towards digital marketing, you will have to put one of your foot on the sides of the business as well. Okay, so that was my first point. We are talking about understanding the business. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to give 30 seconds for this. Drop in your questions and answer them right. That's the first point. Guys, if you have any questions, quickly. No questions as of now. Sasha. Okay, great. Anybody else? Kushi, no questions. Arjun, no questions. Neha, Simon, Vishishtha, no questions at all. I'm gonna quickly check my YouTube also, by the way. Let me see how's that stream going. What's that? Uh-oh, you're not. Okay, super. So let's move to the second mistakes which early stage digital marketers make. Okay. The second mistake which a lot of digital marketers make is they don't do enough of this. They don't pivot much. Okay, what do I mean by pivot? It could be a very generic question which people will understand. People might not understand, right? A very generic term. Now, when we're talking about pivot, we are always talking about that if you are, let's say, in one of these streams of digital marketing. Okay, this could be maybe you're in SEO. Okay, or maybe you are in social media. Okay, or maybe you're into content writing, right? If you do not make a necessary pivot, what might happen? First of all, you might get bored with your job. Okay, digital marketing has enough streams within itself to keep you engaged for like 20 years if you want to, right? So if you do not pivot, first thing which is the loss which is going to happen to you is that you're gonna, not probably gonna like your job for a very long time. Okay, so let me take it by a case example here. Okay, let's assume you are a person who handles SEO, right? And if you handle SEO at your company, then at the same time, you might also um, be very much qualified to run the Google ads as well, right? Because let's assuming you use, let's say, SEM Rush, or even let's say Google Keyword Planner or something of that sort, right? And you use that, and those are the same tools again which are used for advertising as well, right? So if you do not pivot, you have another problem with you. One problem is that, let's say, if you do not pivot and SEO, let's say after like 7, 8 years, 10 years, I don't know when, but take an assumption that it might die. Okay. What will happen to your work experience after that? Right. We see it with a lot of companies which, just lay off a lot of people. Right. That's exactly how you're going to feel. And you'll be laid off from a freaking industry. Forget a company. Right. So if you do not pivot, that is going to be very harmful for you in a long term. Okay. And it's more dependent upon you, because you might get bored and you might also become really, really good. But again, I am making a certain YouTube video about whether to use a specialization or whether to be a generalized digital marketer, right? And this point has come up there as well. I'm making it, I've still not made that video, but that point is still coming up there. Now, if you do not pivot, here's what's going to happen. Assume you did a great job in your SEO field. Okay, you're a head of SEO, but there was another person who also started his career from SEO, but pivoted to social media, pivoted to digital advertising, pivoted to social media as well during his career of 10, 11, 12 years, right? And that is the time when you will be the person who's going to be reporting to that person, despite being a great, great SEO person, because you're going to be the head of SEO and he's going to be the head of digital marketing or something of that sort, right? He doesn't need to implement it. You probably know SEO better than him, better than your boss, right? And but he has a higher ladder to climb because he pivoted. Okay, so don't do this mistake as well. This mistake number 2, pivot. Okay, 4 more mistakes to go. Let's just very quickly ask more questions. If anybody has any questions on pivoting, okay, ask me any questions, please. Kushi, makes sense. Okay, thank you. That's why I'm kidding. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. What else? Any questions, guys? Ask me tough questions. No, that's why I'm here. Ask me those questions. Let's see how it goes. Ian, that's a very bad question to ask after I've explained what pivoting means. Pivoting in, I don't know if you play basketball or not, okay? But when you keep your one foot at one place and then only move with the other foot, okay? So one foot is constant, which is your initial start from where you have taken, okay? For example, social media or SEO, right? So this is SEO here, okay? And then you use your other foot to probably get into social media, or you could go into advertising, or you could go into something else, right? So that is what you mean by pivot here. Pivoting means one foot at the spot where you started it from, and then later on you can pivot. You can forget the first part, first foot of yours, right? If you started with SEO, started liking social media, then you maybe can pivot and put your leg up from SEO and move to, let's assume, I don't know, something else, email marketing, right? That is what you mean by pivoting. Any other questions, guys? I have 4 more mistakes to cover. I have exactly 30 minutes to take care of these. Guys, questions? Should I move ahead? Say yes. And here's the third mistake. Should we move ahead? Awesome. I'm moving Rajat, yeah, that means basically you should be active or at least find opportunities to pivot in the other fields. When I say field, that means fields within digital marketing. That's what I'm talking about here. Okay, I'm not asking you to go ahead and start doing coding and start being the customer service person. I mean, within digital marketing, you need to pivot. Moving on, guys. Another thing which a lot of digital marketing freshers do not do, okay, is this point. I don't know if you guys can see this. Okay, I need to get my eyes off the camera. I'm talking about additional skills. Okay. So when I'm talking about additional skills, that means I'm talking about a few good extra things which can help you do your job better and not depend on somebody. Okay. So let me give you a very quick example around it, right? The example which I have here with me is, assume you're a social media marketer, right? You post stuff online, and one fine day, your designer, your website designer, additional skills, Alvi. Sorry, there's a dot, probably you can't see it. Okay. And I did not have enough space to write it. So additional skills. Okay. So again, coming back to the point, you're a social media marketer, there's a campaign which needs to go out, your designer is not available, his mom fell sick. Okay, what are you going to do? Right? So two things. One thing is that you prepare in advance, but a lot of things come in ad hoc, and that will happen no matter how much you plan in advance. A lot of things are going to come in ad hoc in front of you wherever you're working in digital marketing. Okay, now when you're doing that, it's when this thing comes up into the picture is, let's say you had one blog which was needed to be released, and that one blog needs a header image, right? If you have an additional skill of designing an image, not as, and nobody is judging you and nobody is comparing you to to go into a different field altogether. Okay, I'm saying go to Canva and see if you can design an image. Okay, if your designer is not there, and it's going to take you not more than 2 hours to learn Canva, and in fact even lesser, right? It's basically common sense out there, right? But if you have a knack of design by designing it yourself, right? If you have those things, what is going to happen is you will be loved by a lot of people. First of all, you're not dependent, so your work happens faster, right? And you will always be a person who can design something, or let's say update a blog on maybe on your blog or something of that sort, right? And if you could do those things, your dependency gets removed from additional set of people. Okay, you want to update a blog, the website designer is busy with something, right? So in that particular case, having these skills is going to make your work get faster. You'll be able to complete the things which you want to, okay, even if there is a dependency on somebody. So having these additional skills, I'll tell you what all skills I have, not to that level which a professional should have, right? But I can design images both using Canva or Sketch or even Photoshop, by the way, right? All three of them. Then I have a skill of updating WordPress. I can do that easily if I want to, right? Then I also have a skill of video editing, which you might be able to see it on my YouTube channel if you go sometime, right? So these additional skills, and one of the times when I edited a video for my boss, he won one of the largest fintech awards in India, okay? And I got a bonus on that particular month, right? So think about it that way. If you could be self-sufficient, that does not mean you pick up each and every work which you have and then, okay, I'll take care of it. You won't be able to do that, trust me. But this is an emergency fund. okay, which you should have with you, either emergency or growth fund. And it's always a very good idea to do something like this, right? I don't know. I mean, it could go into something else. You could make great TikToks, or you could make great Instagram reels. That is also okay, right? And but have those additional skills with you, right? Learn over a period of time. You will very surely get interested into one of these things, and once you pick it up, you make it better. How do you think I learned about lighting a setup, of keeping a camera, of how to present on live streams, right? I learned it, and this is an additional skill which I have, which I might probably use very recently as well. Okay, so these additional skills are going to make you a better digital marketer by far. Okay, any questions on these? Sasha, answer: is Canva paid? No, it's free, but it has a paid version. Any questions on additional skills, please? I'll wait for it. I'll get my water till that time. Well, let's see if there's any. Okay, any questions? Cool, that's not bad. Can you give more examples of additional skills? Yeah, it depends on what sort of a job you get into, right? I mean, additional skills could be as easy as animation, or as tough as maybe even coming from the technical background. It could be anything else. I mean, for the most useful ones for a digital marketer are going to be your image designing, that is graphic designing. Then if you could do video editing, that is great. Okay, if you can do copywriting and you're not in the content marketing field, that is going to be amazing for you, right? So video and mixing stuff and stuff like that, right? More on the creative side. Any questions, guys, as of now? So this is gone, right? This is done. Mahir, I hope I answered your question. It's ready. Cool, guys. Let's go to the fourth point, okay? We have 19 minutes, okay? And we are only halfway through. So I'm going to make this quick, very quick. Great. So the fourth point, which a lot of people miss out, is actually learning, okay? And this happens. Trust me, it happens. I was bought a 15,000 rupee course for a quarter and could not do it. Let me be very honest about this. And I could only complete 2 hours of that course, because I was busy with the work. Okay, but at the same time, you can see that I have, and that was a digital marketing course, by the way. Okay, so we do not learn. The problem with digital marketing career is you're going to get outdated super soon. If you did not learn anything this year, there is a chance that if a fresher, if somebody who has 1 year of lesser experience than you, can literally take your spot in the next interview if you did not learn it. I have gotten, when I say learning, that means expanding your knowledge in digital marketing, okay? Or even whatever field you're doing. You can pivot. When you pivot, you can, once you have already pivoted, then you can learn about that field. But you have to learn and stay updated. I meant, this is not like learning, this is like constantly learning. I actually missed it out, right? So constantly learning is something going to be, which is going to be, it's like a lifeline for you if you're into digital marketing, because things are going to change, right? LinkedIn is going to bring in a feature. Twitter is going to bring in a feature. Social media is going to bring in a feature. Anything is going to get updated. And if you're not constantly learning about that, okay, then there's a problem which you're going to face very, very soon. Okay, if not now, but maybe later. So what's going to happen here? What I suggest people to do is to go and get any RSS feed reader. Okay, you can do it as simple as Google Alerts as well. Okay, or create a separate inbox where you have the newsletters coming in from the companies whose content you would want to read. Okay, just create a different YouTube account altogether if you have your personal mixed one, right? Create a different YouTube account altogether, access YouTube from there, where you have only followed the digital marketers or whatever you want to learn within those areas, right? So that is something which is going to be extremely useful for you, because if you stop learning, right, you will, I mean, you'll get outdated super soon in digital marketing. Okay, it's all about learning new tactics and implementing it. So that was about learning. Okay, any questions about learning? Any questions, guys? Easy keyword, no questions. This is continuous learning, by the way. It's not like learning once. This is continuous learning. Okay, cool, guys. If no questions, learning is out too. It again fell. Okay, cool, guys. My maid is going to kill me tomorrow morning. Anyways, I'm going to the next keyword, okay? As Vivek says, next keyword. So the next keyword which we have here is that a lot of marketers do not do is market themselves. Okay. Now I'll tell you what happens when you do that. First of all, you get a lot more job offers. If you're a freelancer, you get a lot more eyeballs to your content. Okay. And something which is going to be bringing you a lot of attention, right? And as a marketer, your job is to bring attention to people. Okay. And if you cannot do with a 25-year-old product, I'm assuming that's not my age, but a 25-year-old guy who's working into the industry, who knows himself from the last 25 years, then it's going to be super tough for you to market the product which actually you are working for, right? So when you do this, it's easier jobs, it's easier freelancing for you, okay? And it eventually also help you get more contacts to your company as well. Let's say if you're working somewhere, okay? And I'm doing this right now, okay? So once that happens, you will gain, and you might have to understand the business before that, right? Because if I market myself, I probably might reach out to one of the people who are in my target audience, right? Who I'm trying to sell a solution to, or trying to sell something, right? And if that person is in my target audience, I can very easily, if he engages with my content once, he is going to be around, right? I'm live right now on LinkedIn. I'm live right now on YouTube. I'm live right now on Creator at the same time. Okay. Now, what it does very simply is, if you market, things might come to you which you were not even expecting. Okay. I was marketing myself, and within 1 week, a year back, within 1 week, I got 2 freelancing contracts, and not small ones. Let me tell you. To the people who tell you about freelancing contracts that, okay, big money, large money, trust me, that was not large money. The ones which I came across were paying decently well to me. And that all happened because I was marketing myself. Okay. Any questions upon marketing myself? And you can choose your own channel, by the way. Feel free to create a YouTube channel. Feel free to create your Instagram channel and put reels on it. Feel free to go live like how I'm going with Creator and LinkedIn and YouTube, right? And you use that, whatever you want to do it. People call it personal branding also, by the way. Okay. But if you're a fresher, it's very good to start this practice. Maybe a lot of people are not going to hear you right now because you're just a fresher. What are you talking about? Not many people are going to hear you, right? But you will develop that habit of marketing yourself constantly. And when you will have enough knowledge, you will have enough experience in the industry, in the domain which you're working, which is digital marketing here, right? Then you will see the difference it makes to you. Okay. You'll find old contacts coming back to you for freelancing. You'll find job offers coming to you from just by doing personal branding, and that will happen. Okay. So marketing is okay. Simone is asking a question: is making my LinkedIn more interactive a good way of improving my personal branding? LinkedIn, obviously, I would suggest everybody should be doing that. But apart from that, not just on LinkedIn, you should also look at other platforms as well. LinkedIn is on right now is on steroids, right? You post anything, it just blows up. Okay, that doesn't happen on Instagram. That doesn't happen on YouTube, right? So LinkedIn, I'll agree. Go ahead, make your personal branding area, but personal branding itself is a lesson for a different time. Maybe I'll do a course on it, but I don't think I'm qualified to do that, right? But at the same time, hey, okay, so Vishishta, hey, so I'm an artist. I want to increase traction on my page. Is there any suggestion for me? Have you tried it out with Instagram, making shorter reels or something of that sort? Maybe a time lapse of how do you, I don't know what sort of an artist are you, right? But if you would create a time lapse of you doing or creating a project, right? Those things are a hit on Instagram. Give it a shot. All you need to do is like place a camera, put it into time lapse mode, and do your thing. Guys, any other questions on marketing yourself? We are on the last point now after this. I'm a digital. What is wrong with my throat these days? Oh, it's went down. Okay. Yeah. I'm a digital artist and also traditional. So digital artist is super easy. Screen grab it, put it into 5x speed, and put it onto wheels. Let's assume you're making it in a, I don't know, 10-minute video or something. That's pretty easy. You have to figure out your own ways. I mean, like, because if I went for like a one-on-one sort of a coaching, I think for that thing, you guys have options. I still haven't explored that option. But once it comes to that, we're going to go ahead and do the options again as well. Right? So, I mean, speed bump it. Apart from that, what you can do is maybe start teaching people. That is also a very good idea to go ahead and bring your personal brand. Right? Teach how that works. Take it up from there. Cool, guys. I have 5 minutes or something, and we are on the last point. Any questions as of now? I mean, any more questions as of now? Okay, I think I have to scroll this. Okay, got it. Guys, if there are no questions, I'm moving to the next part. Okay, great. I'm moving. Moving on. We're gonna talk about one of the probably the most important things and the industry I'm working in right now. Okay, that's feedback. Whom do you want to take a feedback from, and why do you want to do it? Okay. It has happened like, I don't know, hundreds of times where I think that I have been doing a great job at what I'm doing, okay, or what I'm planning to do, or anything of that sort, right? But if I do not take a feedback of the things which I've done and also the things which we are planning to do, okay, you won't be able to evolve so much, okay? That is going to be super. I mean, this concept in itself, okay, it works for companies. We all see that there is a feedback review which always happen in every 6 months or let's say a year or something. And those feedbacks happens, right? But you actually do not need that much of a gap, right, to take feedback from your teammates and your bosses, okay? Maybe because every person is unique and every person has one or the other boss, right? This feedback session, take it, note it down, open both your ears when you're taking it, and then see if that makes sense to you or not. Okay, whatever I just taught you guys here, okay, let's assuming if I have a if I have a feedback module right now, I could improve my live stream, right? I can improve the content. I can improve, instead of feedback, like, I don't know where did I find this paper from. I just cut it, by the way, 5 minutes back, right? I would never know that what's going to happen. Okay, so that's probably one of the things which creator might add later. Okay, but feedback super important. And whom do you want to take a feedback from? You also want to take a feedback from your teammates, not just the bosses, right? I'm assuming everybody who's working with teammates is spending more time with teammates and less with bosses, correct? You don't have to go to that route. And trust me, no boss in the world will ever stop you to take a honest feedback if you come up to him. Nobody will ever do that, right? Take a 5-minute feedback on the last thing which you did, right? He has 5 minutes. If he does not, you can go ahead and bother him, but he does not want to talk to you at all. It's a different story. You need to change your boss, right? But if he gives you the feedback, see if it makes sense, see if it can apply, see if things can work forward with that. Now, this is the most important element for you to improve, because what I said were mostly general points, right, which are good for your growth overall. But what if you're messing up what you're doing right now? Correct? So this thing is extremely important. Any questions on this? Mohammed, this is not how to improve my copywriting skills. Did you try searching YouTube or Google? And that's not a hard answer. That's not a hard question to ask, right? How to improve my copywriting skills? Just why don't you just like do a Google search right now? A YouTube search, in fact. You will get tons of content on copywriting. YouTube is filled with copywriters. YouTube is filled with digital marketers. YouTube is filled with product managers, right? And I'm not a copywriting person, so I can't tell you much about it. Okay, but what I can say is the most of the questions which you guys have right now, you guys can very easily just search it on YouTube. There's huge chance that you're going to find a good solution out of it, and then implement. It's not too hard about it, right? You being a digital marketer, one thing you should also, I think, not make a mistake on is by not searching each and every query on Google. That was not the point which I've written, but it's super important to learn how to Google. Guys, those are the 6 points. Any questions on these? I have 4 minutes exactly before I end this screen. End this stream. What's wrong with me? Questions, guys. Neha, Arjun, Sasha, Khushi, Vishishta, Ayan, Rajat. Alvi, are you okay? You're confused with pivot. How? It's not very hard here. I mean, okay. So I'll tell you. What do you do? What do you do right now? Tell me what you do right now in the chat. I'm waiting for you. I'm a student doing my BBA. Okay. Now, with BBA, you can't pivot because you can't be in 2 colleges at the same time, right? But assume you finish your BBA, right? And then you go ahead. See, people switch careers, right? That means like going all the way from one career of project management or something of that sort, or from an IT career or from a sales career to a marketing career. That is switching of a career, okay? Pivoting on a career means that within a particular field, right? It could be, I'll take example of digital marketing itself, right? Within digital marketing, you might be very good. Your priority number one is, or you started your career off with SEO, right? When you say pivot, that means you start engaging yourself in the parts of, let's say, social media or Google advertising, right? But you're still doing SEO, okay? And you start working on this, okay? And then maybe once you start to get a hang of this, you can always pivot your previous foot also and go into something third, right? That is what it is I mean about pivoting. If you don't pivot, I've already told you, you're going to stick to one stream. You might get bored and you might not reach the head of, let's say, digital marketing or something like that. If you do not pivot. Understood? Guys, I have last 1 minute. After that, I have to end the stream. So quickly, if you have any questions. What are the some ways to increase your personal brand? That's a different conversation altogether. That's a course in itself. Okay. But let me tell you a definition of personal brand, right? A personal brand would be somebody, a person who is being followed by their own target segments. For example, let's assume I'm a freelancer, okay? And if I'm a freelancer, I have maybe a small example that we can start from tomorrow, a tip. Okay, let me give you a tip. The tip is start posting constantly, no matter what platform you're doing, what platform you're using. Okay, so Neha, I don't think you've told me what you do, right? But assuming you are, maybe a digital marketer, okay, start posting constantly every day. Make a schedule about it. Put an alarm on your clock, and post regularly about what you do. Once you do that, when there's enough consistency, then you start working on the quality of the content which you put out. Okay. Once the quality increases and the consistency remains the same, that is the time when you will start developing a personal brand. Okay. That means people will look up to you for advice, or people will look up to your content which you've written, so that they will gonna learn something new from you. Okay. So create a schedule right away after this call, right? That on this particular day, I'm gonna go ahead and post this. On this particular day, I'm going to go ahead and post on this channel and this content. It's a different topic altogether now. But whatever you love to do, start posting about it on a relevant platform. Be consistent and then increase the quality of the content which you use. That is the thing that is the one tip which I'm going to give you. Okay, guys, I think I'm done for the day. Okay, I have a few meetings at 8:30, so I need to prepare before that. And then I'll see you probably next week. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there are any more questions. You can always go ahead and visit my YouTube channel, okay? Or you can always go ahead and follow me on LinkedIn. That is, both the options are there. And if you have any other questions, I mean, I'm happy to chat on maybe on my YouTube comments. I don't do Instagram much, but on LinkedIn, I'll be there, okay? All you need to do is like find my name. It's pretty easy. And I'll see you there, maybe on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe the YouTube channel, by the way. I'm very close to a milestone which I'm trying to touch before this week. So if you just search for Priyank Johri on YouTube, you'll be able to find my channel. Go ahead and subscribe there as well. Okay. All right, guys. See you. Good fun. We catch up. Thank you. Thank you, Arjun. See you guys. Bye.